Let's all stand up. Yeah, hands up in the air. Big breath. In, out. One more time. In, out. Now touch your toes. Get loose. Guys, hold your hamstring straight. Feel that tightness. Okay, all right, now sit down. By the way, I just helped you guys not die. There's a fog machine right here. Did you guys see this mist? At the 8-minute mark, we turned it off. So you were being bathed in this mist. It caused a respiratory problem, so you're welcome. Okay, you guys, we have so much to do in 20 minutes. So for the first 10 minutes, I'm going to talk about don't die. And normally this conversation takes 2 hours. I'm going to do it in 10 minutes. So just know it's really fast. I'm going to leave you with more questions. You have answers, but it's going to be a seed planted so you know what's going on. And then the last 10 minutes, we're going to get your fucking sleep in order, okay? Because I know you're not sleeping well, and it's a bad situation, okay? Are you open to this conversation? Okay, great. By the way, who slept for 5 hours last night? Well, okay, that's bad. 6 hours? No, let's actually go down. 4 hours. 3, 2, 1. Who had 8? Good job. Okay, great. All right, good starting point. All right, here we go. 10 minutes, really fast. Okay, great. There we are. Okay, so a lot of people think about what I'm doing is about nighttime boners. It is. Men who don't have nighttime boners have a 70% chance of dying. So data leads to informing us on how not to die. But really what this is about in the larger picture is, this is from situational-awareness.ai, someone at OpenAI, where he's saying it's possible and maybe probable that AI models will be as good as the world's best AI researchers in 2027. So whether you're bullish or bearish on AI, it's moving pretty fast, maybe faster than we understand. And so it poses this question: what do we do as a species when you're giving birth to superintelligence? It's the most important question we have as a species. And when I look out in the world, I don't see an answer that I like. So when we contemplate this question, what do we do? Well, you can see we have a lot of opinions. The US wants to do one thing, China's got its own ideas, India's got its thing, the Republican Democratic Party. You have different groups everywhere, all with different objectives, different ideologies, different approaches. We don't really have a good answer other than we're stumbling through this thing. So my hypothesis is no existing framework of human thought on how to organize society is equal to this moment. We don't have an answer. Not capitalism, not democracy, not socialism, not Christianity, not Islam, not wokeism, not a single ideology actually has the answer. I would propose to you that don't die is the answer. And specifically, don't die individually, don't kill each other, don't kill the planet, and align AI with don't die. That don't die is the most played game by every human on this planet every second of every day. It is our 0th order priority at every moment. It is the single thing that every human on this planet agrees to. And it's not don't die in 20 years, it's don't die right now is the single thing we align upon. So if you think about humanity over the largest stretch of time, like what really drives societal systems? You know, Confucius was like, hey, there's harmony in relationships. And then Muhammad was like, Buddha was like, hey, life kind of sucks, we should attach ourselves. Muhammad is like, we should submit to God. Jesus was like, I am the Son of God. Adam Smith was like, actually, there's the invisible hand, there's markets. Marx was like, actually, it's class warfare. America was like, hey, we the people. Right? So they're like these big philosophical concepts that rule very large swaths of people. And my hypothesis and proposition to each one of you is that these ideologies, these frameworks, emerge to be co-equals with technology that are birthed. And so if you just pose the question, as we give birth to superintelligence, what would be the ideology that would actually be suitable to this moment? And I'm suggesting it's don't die. Don't die philosophically, politically, morally, ethically, socially, spiritually. Don't die across the board to rebuild society. And so for the past few years, I've been holding these conversations. I call them my don't die dinners. And so typically it's like 15 to 20 people, and we spend 2 hours going through a series of thought experiments on how this possibly makes sense for us as a species. So I don't expect you to understand this out of the gate. In fact, I expect you to want to kill this idea through all these different vectors. It takes time to be opened up to these new possibilities. But there we go, seed planted. Cool, so the invitation for each one of you is we just launched a Don't Die app. This is in alpha mode, it's buggy as hell, but we have a Don't Die score. It can pull data from any wearable, and it gives you a daily number according to sleep, exercise, and motion throughout the day. And it allows you to have a common framework of what is your actual score on a daily basis. So there's a QR code here, I think. Yeah, so download it and join the community. And then also the invitation is to create a Don't Die group IRL. So we're standing up a directory tomorrow of Don't Die groups around the world. If you're into health and wellness, there are groups that meet up to do activities, like they go for a walk, or there's philosophy groups, or there's longevity groups. We're trying to build Don't Die in real life, new friends, new community. Also, people are building Don't Die in other verticals. Like you can say, Don't Die school lunch. Like you can actually, so smoking one cigarette costs you 11 minutes of life. Same with a fast food meal. A burger, a shake, and fries cost you 11 minutes of life. You can numerically assign die values. And this is what I've been doing for the past 3 years, is I tried to measure the biological age of every organ in my body, apply all the science, and then measure on a routine basis how much I have slowed my speed of aging and reversed the aging damage. And so I've become the most don't die person in human history through numerically quantifying death at a molecular level. You can take the same thought process and apply it to political systems. Like, my district is the most don't die district in all the counties. Singapore could say, we're the most don't die country in the entire world. You can use this framework in any aspect of life. So if you're interested in this concept, you want to build on top of it, please be part of the community. All right, that's Don't Die. We'll now move to sleep. Okay. There's 5 things I want you guys to do to optimize for sleep. And by the way, what gives me credibility to talk about this topic? I am a world champion Olympian sleeper. I posted the best sleep score in human history, 8 months of perfect sleep using a wearable. Thank you. I wanted to show that you can get consistent, high-quality sleep. And so that was a process of creating what I'm going to tell you tonight. So rule number 1 is reframe your identity that you are a professional sleeper. You're not a casual sleeper. You don't sleep when you have time. You don't sleep when you're done watching your movie. You don't sleep when you're done with your events. You sleep on time every day. Okay? It's a true identity thing. Now, to do this, you've got to overcome the psychology that being a founder should be martyrdom, that you should skip sleep, and that if you code all night and don't have your sleep, that people are going to tell stories about you that you're amazing. That's a bad idea. Okay? Sleep is the highest value thing you can do as a builder and to be as a person. Okay, so you are a professional sleeper, have that identity. Number 2 is your last meal of the day is extremely influential in determining the quality of your sleep. So if you go to bed at 10 p.m., have your final meal of the day at 8 p.m. And then try 7, and then try 6, and then try 5 p.m., and work your way back. You'll see that the longer window you have between your last meal of the day and your bedtime, the more your body will be able to prepare yourself for sleep. So my last meal of the day is 11 a.m. Now, you don't have to do that. You can do something much more reasonable. I did that because the data took me there. I tried a few hundred experiments, and consistently as I move back, the better my sleep. So if I stop at 11 a.m., I go to bed at 8:30 p.m. If my resting heart rate's 47, guaranteed perfect night's sleep. If I eat at 5 p.m., my resting heart rate's going to be 56, and I will lose 30% of my sleep quality. Very reliable. So professional sleeper, eat earlier and lighter on your last meal of the day. 3 is be consistent. The body loves routine, and it loves consistency. So if your bedtime is at 10, try to be in bed roughly plus or minus 30 minutes. When I was doing my perfect sleep, I was in bed plus or minus 1 minute. It was so precise. When 8:29 came, my biological systems would say, we're ready. It was just phenomenal. I just drop into sleep. Number 4 is light and environment is really important. This light is awful. Like, so I came in here, I'm basically dying to give this talk today. I got the fog machine, right, messing up my lungs, and I got the blue light here messing with my sleep, but it's worth it to be here with you guys. So light. So when you come up to the evening, you want to avoid blue lights, like lights in general. So turn your screens off, and generally try to turn the lights on down in the house. You want to be in like the 3,500 range of Kelvin, which just means you want to be in a warm light environment. If you want to be really good, be in a red light. So get a red light bulb, put it in a lamp, and just turn red light on. You'll see it has this really amazing soothing effect on your body. So be mindful that light has a dramatic effect on how your body's going to feel. Then number 5, that was number 4. 5 is you need to have a wind down routine. Okay, so when you wake up in the morning, you probably have a routine like you do coffee or something. Wind down routine is 1 hour every night before bed. So I go to bed at 8:30. At 7:30, Sleep Bryan is now in charge of me. So that means he's activated, and at 7:31, a thought is going to come into my mind and say, oh, but wait a second, I have a new idea about the following thing. And I have to say, thank you, ambitious Bryan. We appreciate you very much. You do great work. Also, we are in sleep mode. We are preparing for sleep, and tonight we're going to get a great night's sleep, so we have all day tomorrow to address this. And ambitious Bryan will say, but are you sure? Yes, we have this. And then 1 minute later, it's like, oh, but wait a second. You had that conversation today. You probably offended that person. They probably hate you. Thank you, Bryan. We appreciate your observation. We have all day to resolve this tomorrow. But the key is, you know this happens. You get to the end of the day, and you're ruminating on all these ideas, like all the good things, all the bad things. You're stressed out. You're replaying the moments. That carries over into making your nervous system very excitable, which means when your head hits a pillow, you just loop. If you spend that hour before bed winding yourself down, so first, setting priority straight that your sleep mode is activated. Then secondarily is do something like read a book, go for a walk, meditate, breath work, something that calms your body so you're ready for sleep. Okay? So those 5 things. Right, who is in to do this? Oh man, that sucked. So it was so bad. Who's in this? Yeah. Okay. Turn to your neighbor, look them in the eye, and say, I promise you from this day forward, I am a professional sleeper. Do it. Do it. Every one of you. Okay, stop. Stop. That was fucking half-assed. You, right there, you guys, that was so half-assed. Let's see it. Look at each other and be earnest. Say it. There we go. There we go. One more time. Do it. Okay, cool. You guys can do it. I believe in you, and you will make the world a better place when you are all sleeping very well. All right, we have 6 minutes left. Let's do some Q&A. What's on your mind? Do you want to talk about? Yo, what's up?
What's the best way to get started on your stack?
Oh yeah, so Blueprint has products. I don't talk about it because I don't want to sell stuff. I am here to make you guys your best people. If you want to check out my Blueprint stuff, like you can find it online. But I don't want to confuse. I am here legitimately to make you a better human, not to sell you stuff. Thank you, friend.
How to get a good sleep when you have a small child?
So, yep, I have 3 kids. And so kids are very responsive. So I would sit the kids down and say, kids, we are a family of sleep. We go to bed on time, right? Hand out gold stars, but like the parents too. Like the parents are the worst examples, right? The parents stay up late, they eat bad foods, they're drinking wine, they're watching TV, they're on their phones. They're the worst examples. So the entire family needs to say, we are a family that sleeps, and when you go to bed, unless the house is on fire, nobody gets up. Everyone's in bed and stays in bed. And no one ever wakes anyone up in the morning. So a family culture, write down the rules, put them on the wall, give out gold stars, everyone in the family gets it. But be a family of sleep, everyone follows the rules, and it will work.
What's your thesis with your body? What you're trying to achieve? Do you have like I want to go to above 100 or something like that?
Yes, I'm trying to reach age escape velocity. So currently my speed of aging is 0.64, which means oversimplification, I celebrate my birthday every 19 months. So I'm pushing how fast I age going down. When I started, I was 1.01. So we've dramatically slowed down my speed of aging. Meanwhile, we've also we reduced my thymus age by 7 years, this little organ behind your sternum. So we're trying to basically get to a point where 1 year of time passes and I stay the same biological age. Yeah, so shift work, it's actually really, in some countries, it's classified as a class 2 carcinogen. It's really bad. It just messes with your systems. That's why sleep is like the foundation of all things. The body expects consistency, and if you're doing that change, and some people have to do it, which is sad, but it really is bad. So if you can avoid it, please do.
How do you manage your sleep with jet lag and time zone changes?
Yeah, so I'm doing really well. This is my 3rd day in Singapore, and so when you land, I came from LA. You start the body off to say, hey body, we're in a brand new place and we're gonna start the circadian rhythm today. So work out immediately, eat your food immediately, take your supplements immediately. Like you're telling your body, we are in a new time zone and we're going to like kickstart this entire process. There's like small things I do. I play with melatonin. I do some light therapy to try to modify it. But generally, if you just start your routine robustly, you start pushing your body's circadian rhythm. So by day 3, like I'm basically done with jet lag, which is like decent. Yes.
Hi.
My most fun part of the day. Being here, right? Like, this is amazing. We're all together. We're celebrating life. We're alive, like building stuff. It's just like the ability to connect on things we all love. Like, I think it's, so much of society lacks a reason for like big picture stuff. Like, what are we doing? And to me, Don't Die is like the coolest endeavor ever because it's like we're going on a journey as a species into like some unknown land which we've never seen. So this is for me. Thanks. Yeah, will someone live to 1,000 that's alive today? There's no reason why that couldn't be possible. And this is the first time in human history where an intelligent person could say that with a straight face. It's never been possible. Now, we don't know how to do it, but like we have cis-admin access to this ability to engineer atoms, molecules, organisms. Like we have the ability, why couldn't we?
Hi. You have access to so much technology and sorry, I'm over here. And loads of things that a lot of people don't have access to. Super specialized equipment. Is there any technology that is available for everyone that you would recommend to do their own measurements of their own body, like in their organs, their skin, their sleep? What kind of tech would you recommend for people to buy?
Yeah, so first, there's the 80% of what I've achieved in my health. So I potentially have the best biomarkers in the whole world. Potentially. I don't know anyone in the entire world who has better biomarkers than me. Now, they probably do, they're just not measured. But like we've been able to achieve like absolute top 1 percentile in everything, even for like 18-year-olds. And so like what we've done actually works according to the data. And the majority of those benefits are the basics. So when you talk about sleep, diet, exercise, like do those things, you get the 80% of the benefit. And like the tail end stuff, like doing plasma with my son and like all that stuff, like that's just like on the outliers, but you don't need them. So first, just like know the power laws get you the yield. And then number 2 is there's so many basic things you can do. Like for example, everyone stand up real quick. I'll show you an age test. So stand up. So what you want to do is you want to be on one foot. So balance is a really important thing. So choose whatever foot you want. And then you're going to close your eyes. Okay? Be careful, though, you might fall. So choose your foot, close your eye, and try to stay upright. This is a really important indicator of age. So you should be able to at least be there for about 13 seconds. If it's less than that, then your balance is a little off. All right, you can go ahead and sit down. That's a good example. Like grip strength is a really good one. Reaction time. So there's like 15 to 20 low-cost, easy-to-do measurements that tell you your biological age on all these different markers. So it's actually really accessible, low cost to find out where you're at. But if you don't have the balance, it's actually a big risk, a big problem. Yeah.
Here. So how do you celebrate New Year's Eve?
Celebrate wins?
New Year's Eve.
Oh, New Year's Eve. I celebrate, then I go to bed at 8:30 p.m.
Do you ever get sick? When's the last time you ever had a cold?
I never get sick. I got COVID, but I never get sick.
Do you believe there is such thing as a morning and night people? Because I was waking up for 6 years of my life at 5 a.m. to go to high school.
Yeah.
And I never got used to it. So I'm wondering, do you believe there is such thing as morning people and night people?
Yeah, there's definitely a chronotype. There was definitely yes. Also, there was a paper out last week that showed that people who get less than 50% of their sleep before 4 a.m. have like a 50-something% increase for type 2 diabetes. So if you're a night owl, just know it's really important to get the majority of your deep in REM before that time point, because it's not like the case that you can choose any time span. There are some consequences of changing that. And I think I'm out of time.
Hi. Wait, right here.
Yes.
There you go. Some people genetically modify themselves, and there are companies which are trying to enable that. I'm not sure if you've done something. I've probably seen one of your videos where you probably have experimented with some. But how do we know that if we follow some process, how is it different, like when you're doing it versus you're not doing it?
So I'm so sorry. Say it again.
So there are companies which genetically modify, or
Yes.
they do have these procedures where you can genetically modify themselves,
Yes.
right? I'm not sure if you've done that, but if someone was to say that, if I do these things and it supposedly works, but they also genetically modify themselves.
Yeah.
Right. So how do you know the real difference? Is it really something which will just following the process
Yep.
and not doing genetic modifications?
Yep.
How would that work for you?
Two things. One is I did my first gene therapy last year, and it dropped my speed of aging by 10%. So that was really encouraging. And it actually wasn't a change in the DNA. It just changed the expression of a certain protein. So cool that we're doing gene therapy now. That's amazing. Number two is I created this competition called the RejuvenationOlympics.com, where when I started doing this stuff, all the headlines were like, this eccentric billionaire, Prometheus, Patrick Bateman, fuck, is doing this weird stuff. Right? And it was really weird because you take an athlete that sleeps really well and eats, and they're like, that's amazing. And then I do it, and they're like, that's weird as fuck. And so I was like, I need a new name for this. I was like, I'm a professional rejuvenation athlete. That's what I am. And I created a competition for a leaderboard to people so they can compete to see who has the lowest speed of aging. And so it's up right now if you want to check it out. I'm number 5 or 6 right now. I met the guy who's number 2, and guess what he does for his health? Nothing. So sometimes people are just genetically gifted. And that's what we're finding, is that this is like the story of the person who lives to 116. They're like, my secret is you drink alcohol and smoke 2 cigarettes a day. Right? People are like, oh, God damn it, I knew it. That's not the story, right? Genetically, they're just gifted. And so we're finding these things now that there are certain people who do very well. Others have to work very, very hard to achieve the same results. So gene therapy is cool. It will basically, I think, have a great effect for all of us that are not genetically gifted to have those kinds of benefits. All right, cool. You guys, thank you so much. Oh, yeah, last question. Yeah.
I have a question about lion's mane. I'm a really huge fan. Is it okay to take it daily? And should I withdraw maybe after some time? And is it okay to slightly overdose lion's mane?
Yeah, so one thing we learned in doing Blueprint is the food system is dangerously contaminated. It's so bad. And so we started testing all the stuff I was doing, all the supplements, all the food. It's so contaminated. And so we found things like green tea, for example, something pretty benign. We find very high levels of heavy metals. And so the point is, be very careful about what you consume. Where possible, try to find companies that publish their certificate of analysis adjacent to the product. Do not believe anything any company says on marketing, ever. Do not trust them. Look at the laboratory results and have them publish it. And then you can feel safe. But the problem is, if you overdose on anything, you could really be doing yourself harm. You may think lion's mane is great for you, but anything in too much excess. So we did that at Blueprint, for example. We created, in everything we make, we have a certificate of analysis adjacent to the product. Here's what the lab shows for the results. Just watch out for that. And then number 2 is we created a don't die certification, where brands that actually test their stuff and show their COAs have that brand. And so we're trying to clean up the food system so that you can be confident. Because organic is okay, but it doesn't really give you what you want. Okay, guys, thank you very much. Loved hanging out with you. And prioritize your sleep, join Don't Die, and let's build the most amazing future in this part of the galaxy. Be well, guys.